According to your evidence, I doubt that you did not disclose the merits of the. I'll demonstrate why I'm saying that. Being that, based on the question that I asked you, was Mboto a commissioned or qualified to take a confession from Mr. Spear? That's the question I'm asking. Was he not supposed to appoint another person?
No, see, that's an illegal. I wouldn't do it. I didn't do it. It's a commissioned officer. His position as Justice of the Peace, he is allowed to take confessions.
Ukenele Mboto wakade kuumuntu onelungelo na lokuthatha lesi statement besikade sizokhuluma umangalo wokuqala uthi yebo ngoba yena kwakade kuyi-commission eyikuthi uma umuntu kuwuKenneth uyanikwa nalawo malungelo wokuthi angahle athathe inkulumo ezifana nalezo. Into yesibili uthi ubrigadier yena uyaphinda futhi uyafunga uyagomela ukuthi akazange akhulume noKenneth ngalolu daba ukuthi umangalelwa uzokhuluma nalo udaba oluthize.
That's the rank of Kenneth.
I understand. I'll get into. I'm glad you mentioned the and you explained what is the justice of the peace and the quality or the credentials that Colonel Mboto had in taking a confession. But I'll still maintain that he was not a candidate, not in terms of...
I disagree. Colonel Mboto, the only criteria he needs to meet is that he must be an officer. He was a colonel far past the rank of a captain. He was a colonel
So ukuthi umuntu uyayidinga ukuze akwazi ukuthatha istatement salomuntu ogunyulukayo ukuthi umuntu kwamele abe uKenneth la ukuthi bese sekudala uKenneth edlulile kubukapteni manje yena wayekade enalo igunya lokuthi angahle alalele aphinda thatha statement esifana naso lesi.
So in relation to Section 217, my Lord, I'm not sure if it will be prudent to ask about the if the court is.
Are you disputing that Colonel Mboto is not authorized?
I'm not disputing that.
So this exercise is about what? Because why I'm asking this, Ramo CPD never queried the credentials of Mboto.
Mboto, in terms of the Pradia Gininda, according to the procedure, was up.
If I understand you well, confession debarring the law from you to take that confession.
Yes, my lord.
You know that.
I know that.
It's just best practice and it's advisable. The case, it's a Natal case, Kruger.
Yes.
The judge was I'll remember the judge. So, best practice says, give it sanction.
That's correct.
That is being followed, my lord.
Yes. On the basis that Colonel Brigadier Gininda, his credentials, yes, he can take a confession. But if he is a person of interest, he cannot take a confession.
How is he a person of interest? I'm quoting you a SCA case.
My Lord,
I use that case about 20 not take the confession. But there's no law disbarring you. But we can argue about that until pit.com.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. May I proceed?
Yes.
Yes. In relation to text, Section 217, especially where it deals with the justice of peace. And that justice of peace, according to the provision, it under Section 334 of the Criminal Procedure Act. Have you read that provision?
No, I've not, my lord. The essence of what Section 217, my lord, I know. It's only the judicial officials that can take the part in justice of the peace. Who police officers, who are commissioned officers, falls under the officer here the right, a legal right for that matter, my lord, to take the confession. He was legally qualified to do so.
Yeah, okay.
In terms of the provision,
because you two are arguing about the law.
yes.
So you can prove it by by whatever means. Okay, no problem.
And
As a court, please, we just want to point out the section 334 relates to the appointment of
334.
yes persons as peace officers, not
Just
as,
read it to us
not as justice.
so that we
of the
get
peace.
educated.
It's fairly long section.
No, read it, sir.
The headings: Minister may declare certain persons peace officers
Right.
for specific purposes. Subsection 1A, a peace officer by this act, who is a peace officer by virtue of a notice any power in possession of a certificate of appointment issued by his employer be issued under subsection 2A. Subsection B, any matter may include in such certificate. Then lastly, subsection 4, where the employer of any person who becomes a peace officer under this provision of this section will be liable for damaging arising out of any act or omission by such person in the discharge of any power conferred upon him under this section. The state shall not be liable for such damages unless the state is the employer of that person, in which event the Department of State, including a provincial administration in whose service such person is.
And this evidence was basically that he showed his certificate, Mr. Minister, you can correct me if I'm wrong, to the accused, before whom he was about to take a confession, and explain to him that I'm a justice of the peace. Here is my certificate of appointment.
I forgot the promulgated, but section 1 of the provision it expressly states that the justice minister appoints after the appointment. The justice in terms of that, but in terms of section 217, read with section 334, this is the national commissioner that appoints. You see the difference? In terms of Section 217, read with Section 334, Criminal Procedure Act, is the National Commissioner that appoints the Justice of the Peace. If I may remind the court about, sorry my lord, I used to...
Why don't you argue this thing? Because Mr. Brigadier, what you're trying to prove. He says he knows that his Mbodlo was the Justice of the Peace. Is that not
Correct,
so?
my lord. That's what
And
I'm saying.
that he's authorized to take confessions.
Correct, my lord.
You say he's not a Justice of the Peace and he's not authorized to take confessions. You can argue that. And if you succeed, the so-called confession which is taken by Mbodlo will be rendered inadmissible. Okay,
you,
let's
my lord.
make progress, please.
Thank you, my lord. My lord, let me just continue. Thank you, my lord. I'll argue further.
Because it also depends which university were you at.
It doesn't mean, it doesn't relate to university.
No, I'm saying sometimes
it
they
deals
say
with the act.
you were not at Oxford.
No, I'm coming from Vista University.
Oh, right.
So wait. Yes, that's why I graduated.
Inkantolo ithi isikolo somthetho asiphume sigcile kulolu daba ekuthi ulibele ukubuza ngawo ummeli ubuze imibuzo.
That's why I am going to discredit both Colonel Mboto and Colonel Rappert from taking confessions for both accused persons, accused number 1 and number 2. But let's move on. I just wanted to place it on record. Now, on the 30th of May 2020, accused number 1 is arrested just after lunchtime or during lunchtime, 1 o'clock or after 12:30. According to his version, he's taken to a place near a municipality area in Tembisa where he alleged that he was assaulted. I'm not intending to go back, but I just want to demonstrate something. Immediately after his arrest, he was taken to Fort Loras until he met you. When he met you, didn't have time to relax, didn't have time to think about his arrest, he didn't have time. His mental state at that time did not warrant for him to make a statement freely and voluntarily. Do you disagree with it? Because that confession was taken on the day in which he was arrested. Shortly after he was, maybe 4 to 5 hours difference.
Yeah. So, my lord, what I can say, obviously when he was arrested, I was not there. What I can testify about, and it's what I've said in my evidence in chief, when I spoke to him and gave him his right, when I met him for the first time, I did not see any signs of distress, someone who was in an uncomfortable position. I went even to an extent of asking the members who brought him to move away so that I can speak to him freely, voluntarily, and establish that he was not even under influence of alcohol or drugs. I did not detect such, and that version that he was assaulted was never told to me. Now that's the first part. Subsequent to that, my lord, we moved to the provincial office in Gauteng. He had time, he was not traveling with me in the car. It's about maybe 30 minutes or so from Post Loras to that provincial office. He had time to think. And before I handed him over, when we arrived at the provincial office to the members of I asked him, I warned him and asked him if he was still willing to proceed freely and voluntarily, and he was, my lord. So the version that he was, things were done in a short period of time, that's not correct. That's not the impression he gave me. I spoke to him, he was free, comfortable, and making these assertions freely and voluntarily. I cannot talk to what happened in Tembisa, but he did not tell me that he was assaulted, my lord.
Ngeyithethi ummangalelwa uma eqeda ukuboshwa uSibiya yena uye wathathwa wayisiwa eThembisa washawa futhi makazolethwa kuweke bekangazange athole ithuba lokuthi acabange akhululeke acabange nangokuthi sekaboshiwe uboshelwe ini kwenzakalani uthi ubrigadier ke mina uma efika kimi ngiye ngakhuluma naye futhi nalabo abamlethile ngabacela ukuthi baphume ukuze azokhululeka uma ngikhuluma naye ngiye ngambheka angibonanga izimpawu zokuthi lo muntu lo akakhululekanga, angibonanga izimpawu zokuthi lo muntu lo mhlawumbe kunenye into emhluphayo emqondweni, futhi angibonanga nezimpawu zokuthi wayekade eshayile. Naye uma ngikhuluma naye akazange angitshele ukuthi ushayile, ngoba ukusuka eFosloras ukuyofika eprovincial office labe ngikhona kuthatha mhlawumbe isikhathi esingaba imizuzu engama-30. La ukuthi kuleso sikhathi sona isikhathi la ukuthi mhlawumbe wayekade engacabanga akhululeke bese azilungisa nokuthi uma ngifika lapha kwamele ngifike ngicebe labantu into yokuqala ukuthi bafike bangishaya.
All right. About, with reference to the diary that you recorded, can you please take your diary? You open the records of the 30th of May 2020 and please read them on record in relation to what you have recorded.
To a written report from Captain Yende and Mukula that the suspect Moses Sibiya has been arrested for the case of drug dealing and possession of unlicensed ammunition. I went to interview the suspect at Phosphorus around 1900 hours. The suspect implicated himself in the case after he was warned according to his rights. Colonel Mboto, I've mentioned his cell phone number, is requested to assist with the confession. He agreed. Says suspect must be brought to Diproof SAPS 30 May 2020. And then I've recorded just after midnight, 10 past 12, my lord. Colonel Mboto says he is done, and that I should come get the confession from his office, then 01:30 duty off.
Futhi uyafunda ke istatement eyena sibhale kwi-diary yakhe nge-30 zika May ukuthi kwenzakeleni uma ngisicaphula nje uthi ngalelo langa uye waziswa ukuthi usekaboshiwe uMoses Sibiya futhi kunezinto afuna ukuzikhuluma kulaye ukuthi naye uye wathatha inyathelo zokuthi ashayele uKolonel Mboto ucingo amtshela ukuthi uzocela ukuthi amsize ngomuntu ofuna ukukhuluma indaba ezithize bese ke ntambama kulaye ukuthi uKolonel Mboto uye wamtshela ukuthi sekaqedile ngalesa statement yena bese wabhala nokuthi washayisa ngobani isikhathi.
When you explained the rights, I beg your pardon, you explained the rights to accused number 1, and you told him about, I wouldn't say you told him about the requirements of section 217, but what relates to saying something freely and voluntarily. I assume this is what you told him. Was that recorded in your diary?
No, my lord. I've recorded that I've warned him according to his constitutional right. That is section 35 of Act 108 of 1996. Insofar as the issues of him making the confession freely and voluntarily, the officer who is going to take the confession, for example, whether like in this instance when I was talking to him, you have to satisfy yourself that this person is talking to you freely and voluntarily and without any undue influence. It's a requirement that you must meet, and that person is not under intoxication substance. Then you move on. So you can't tell that person to say, satisfy me that you are not, I must satisfy myself. Based on the question, his composure, the way he talks to me, the type, if I see injuries, obviously it's a sign that something is wrong. If I feel that he's crying or he's sullen somewhere, it shows that something is not right. So you must satisfy yourself that this person before you indeed is talking to you freely and voluntarily.
Indaba yamalungelo uyibhalile phansi kwi-diary yakho njengoba uthi uye wamchazisela amalungelo uthi lokho angikubhalanga kodwa ngibhalile amele mina nganeliseke ukuthi lo muntu engikhuluma naye ngempela uzimisela ukuthi akhulume engaphoqwanga futhi akusukuthi yinto ekwamele ibhalwe phansi leyo, yinto ekwamele nawe uyibone ukuthi lo muntu lo nanoma khuluma nawe ekhululekile. Uma ingabe kunezimpawu zokuthi mhlawumbe uyathuka noma ubonakala kuumuntu engathi ufuna ukukhala noma kuumuntu oyikuthi ekade elimele, bekwamele ngime bese ngiyabuza ke ukuthi kwenzakeleni noma kwenzakalani ngalendlela seyikuthi ubonakala uziphatha ngayo.
Brigadier Kininda, with due respect, sir, you are a person of interest under the case number to gathered from what you allege accused number 1 told you. There's no reason for you not to be biased by saying you told him this, and if accused number 1 say he did not say this, obviously you will insist because you are the lead investigator in this case now, and I would say you are biased in any way from that evidence. What is expected of you, being the lead investigator in this matter, was not to keep him with you at all various places where the alleged offenses were, alleged confessions were taken, were transported by your, I would say, people who were investigating in the same case. For instance, Sergeant Mkhano. I submit with due respect that investigating officer, Sergeant Mkhano, was not supposed to be neither closer to these accused persons when they took a confession. Am I wrong, sir?
Yeah, well, we are wrong when you say I'm a person of interest. We can start there because my understanding of the person of interest is something different, my lord. So you're totally wrong. I'm not.
Sorry, a person of interest is a suspect.
It's a suspect.
Sorry.
So that you all understand what you're talking about.
May I correct myself?
No.
With my poor English.
That's what it means.
No, but I want to correct it because I can see. You see, if every time say it might be mistakenly said, but if it is interpreted like either the witness or whoever intends to.
Okay, fine.
To make
But
fool
that's
of
how I
myself.
understood.
But let me just withdraw that term or that word. It has been erroneously used.
Okay.
But no one must capitalize on that one. But if he says he is not of a person of interest, it's fine.
Okay.
You are the lead investigator and you have an interest in investigating this matter.
Yes, my lord, I agree. I'm the lead investigating officer. That is why I said, after realizing that both accused were obviously on different occasions were confessing, I adopted an approach of getting independent officers as part of the bad practice rule. That was the whole idea. That is why there's Colonel Mboto, and then later there's Lieutenant Colonel Rapadu, and then Lieutenant Colonel Khatebe. That is the idea, my lord, because as the court has rightfully said, as a commissioned officer, I could have taken those confessions, but obviously because I've got knowledge, and as an investigating officer, when we are seized with a matter, is to prove that the crime was committed. So it will not be advisable that you do that because, it's not the best practice way. But I adopted the approach that brings in people who are independent. That's what I've done.
Njengoba inkantolo bese seyishilo ukuthi benginayo imvume yokuthi mina ngingathatha lezo statement, kodwa ngoba ngingomunye wamaphoyisa aphenyayo noma iphoyisa eliphethe uphenyo lwalelicala, ingakho ngiye ngagcina sekuthi ngifuna abanye oza kwethu abekade bezosiza ukuthi bathathe lezo statement, ngoba mina akwamelanga ukuthi ngibe nendima engiyidlalayo kulezo statement, ngoba kuzosiqiniseko sokuthi utholakala abanye abantu ukuthi abaphenyi kulelicala.
And also, my lord, when I said, because I want Mr. Mgumezulu to understand this part, when I was correcting the part of saying I'm not the person of interest. It's what I said yesterday. I'm exactly creating that impression that I'm a person of interest. I'm saying it with greatest respect because for me, that's what it says. And I'm correcting it that that's not the case. It's not meant to undermine him, so you shouldn't take it in a bad way. It's how I understand it, and I feel it must just be corrected. It's just what it is, nothing more than that.
Uma ngithi mina anginayo indima engiyidlalayo kuleli cala, angisho ngokudelela kumnumzana uMngomezulu, ngisho ngokuthi ngibeke izinto zicace, akusukuthi angimhloniphi umnumzana uMngomezulu, angayithathi ngokuthi angimhloniphi ngese baMngomezulu.
Thank you, Brigadier Kininda. We're coming from far with you. Brigadier Kininda, there's one thing that I want to know before we proceed. Remember when you read an affidavit, I think at the beginning of this week, there's an affidavit that you read when you brought an application for J50. I'm not going to J50 per se. I'm saying, remember that affidavit?
Yes, I do remember.
I want to know that affidavit. There's something that bothers me in that affidavit about the family whom accused number 1 was posting. You remember?
Yes.
In KwaZulu-Natal.
Yes.
As a result, that led him to that investigation. That information came to you on the 23rd of October 2020 for the first time.
No.
Or it's something that you got it before you made that affidavit.
My lord, which we've disclosed as well.
Ngiyenze le affidavit le ebengiyifunda ngomsombuluko ngemva kokuthi bese sengithole ulwazi izinto lezo i-statement zikhona phakathi kwedokodo. Ile affidavit uyasho ubaba uMngomezulu ukuthi
we did a cold case analysis around them. So when they were approached on various cases, yes, we were fully aware that there's allegation that they were involved in this matter, in the killing of Senzo Meyiwa.
Yebo ngalesikhathi ezebe eza umangalelwa wokuqala bese sengazi ukuthi vele yena uyingxenye yalabantu ukuthi babulala uSenzo Meyiwa ngoba ithe uma kufika istatement kula ukuthi siye sabhekisisa abantu ukuthi kukhulunywa ngabo kulezi statement themayeza bese senginalo lolo lwazi.
And if you remember very well, I'm not intending to take you back from where I started my cross-examination, but there are certain things that are really necessary that should be placed on record so that we all understand each other. You'll pardon me for that. But may I remind you that, remember when we spoke about Section 219 of the criminal procedure?
My lord, I was spoken to regarding Section 219. I didn't say it. I was asked to read Section 219, subsection 1, and then I think Mr. Ramsipile then read Section 219. So that's how it came about.
Akusi mina ofundele nomthethosisekelo owaka 219 ngafundelwa njengoba bengade ngibuzwa imibuzo, akusi mina ovele waqala wakhuluma ngawo.
One of the reasons for my argument for these confessions to be inadmissible, to be made inadmissible, relates to Section 219. In that, just there is a supplementary affidavit or an additional affidavit that you have made, other than the affidavit you used to bring the application for a J50. Is there any other affidavit that you have?
I've made numerous affidavits, just the litigating office on the docket, my lord. Various are changed, so it's not just one or two. It's various affidavits on the docket, which we've disclosed to the defense as well.
Uyavumelana nami na ukuthi ikhona enye affidavit ewuyenzile ngaphandle kwale ebokade uyifunda la emalangeni uthi yebo ngenze ama affidavit ambalwa kuleli cala.
Yes. With the leave of the court, my lord, I would request, it's not going to be a futile exercise.
Which exercise is that now?
Because, no, I'm saying it's not going to be a futile exercise. I'm just asking the court's indulgence if a certain affidavit, but it does not contain the contents that were redacted.
You got that affidavit?
To be read. It was made by a Brigadier Kininda.
You have it in your possession?
Yes, ma'am.
Can't tell you how to defend your clients. If you want to use it, use it. If the law allows you.
I'm asking the court if I can ask him to read it, my lord. I want to ask Brigadier to read that affidavit.
Where's that affidavit, sir?
It's A227. I believe, because last time you said the witness can just read if the affidavit was made by him.
Now, because this witness says all the affidavits, he finished you, or Mr. Baloyi finished you with those affidavits. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying, my lord. Absolutely.
That's what he's saying. You've
Yes,
got
that's what
all
I'm
the
saying.
affidavits.
That's correct, but I only
Okay.
request only that affidavit, not all. Only that
Okay,
affidavit
no
to be
problem.
read.
Mr. Baloyi, what's your view about that affidavit being read?
Well, if we have no problems with that, my lord. If they want to put it on record.
Okay.
Ummeli ucela ukuthi ubrigadier afunde nayi affidavit yakhe mshushisi uthi akunankinga angaqhubeka.
Okay.
Is that the affidavit?
That's correct. Sorry.
Yeah, my lord. Yes, I can. It is A227.
A227.
My lord, I see it's 1 o'clock. I'm not sure if we can adjourn for lunch. Then we'll continue after lunch.
Okay, should we adjourn, Mr. Nisi?
Yes,
Confirmation.
Which statement? I don't know. I haven't seen the statement. Remember,
Yes.
you and the defense
Well-
counsel refused me to see it.
Yes. Well,
So I don't know what you're talking about.
yes, my learned friend is on his feet, and I'm suppose he's going to have the statement proven. But that is the request that we want to make at this stage. Once the statement is proven,
Have you, sorry, have you spoken to your learned colleague?
yes, he signaled his intention to have that part read into the.
The very
to
part
the
you're saying it would be unfair for it to be
Yes.
publicized in the absence of having
Yes,
brought same to the attention of the person
consent. Yes,
concerned.
indeed, madam.
So, Mr. Tumezulu, what's your view?
My lord, the reason why I oppose the request by the state is because I also researched and checked the legal position regarding to the statements that were disclosed to me. That was disclosed to me, which were the affidavits of the investigating officer. And the state has not indicated any objection. And when an order was, or when the witness was asked to read the statement, then he raised that objection.
Okay, so
But
which
I don't
statement
see-
is this? I don't know what you're talking about.
The statement is the statement of the investigating officer of Brigadier Kininda.
It's a statement by Brigadier.
Brigadier,
Kininda.
yes. Not of the witness.
What does it concern?
My lord, it relates to the participants in the commission of the alleged offense, and it won't actually be open to the court to give an informed judgment if there are certain aspects that are claimed to be privileged or to be redacted without reasons. In this case, an affidavit has been made. It's almost the same affidavit as the one that Brigadier Kininda has read on record. It's an additional paragraphs.
Does it concern a trial within a trial?
It is, my lord. It is, but particularly on the subject of 219.
Mr. Baloi?
As a court, please, my lord, we maintain that this information is irrelevant as far as the trial within a trial is concerned. But over and above that, my lord, we feel that it will be unfair to any individual or individuals to hear their names mentioned in court without them having been warned, and without them having been afforded the opportunity to come and make their own representations. We submit, my lord, that in a constitutional dispensation as ours, this cannot be allowed, my lord. There are no advantage, or there's no advantage to be gained by placing this information on record, as far as my learned friend is
When you say
concerned.
by placing it on record, I hear you. You know what, I've been lax in applying the law because I'm told, you're interfering. I've allowed so much leeway, people bringing evidence which has got nothing to do with the concept of a trial within the trial. Are you with me? Because this is a circumscribed interlocutory application. It's circumscribed, trial within a trial. And once you have used that evidence within a trial within a trial, you may possibly not use it in the general trial. Mr. Nisi, am I talking sense?
Yes, my lord.
But I've been lax. Mr. Gomezulu can tell you, he has gone to the Antarctic, and it comes back. For instance, now we're starting again in the Antarctic. You remember the statement you read?
Yes.
Which now he says it reminds him of something which you say accused number 1 was boasting about.
Yes.
Now, I don't know what he wants to prove about this, but I don't want to stop you. You can do what you think you must do. But when I come to adjudicate the matter, I'll be guided by the dictates of a trial within a trial. But I can't stop you from doing that because I'm told I'm interfering.
Was a good.
So go ahead, do what you think you want to prove, sir. I don't want to encumber or abridge your testimonial duties as prescribed by your instructions, okay?
Nizokhumbula ngaphambi kokuthi siphume ummeli uMngomezulu wayekade ethe uBrigadier Gininda afunde istatement esithize. Manje uma sibuya umshushisi uyacela uthi kunengcenye zazo le statement acela ukuthi zingafundwa, akathi statement sonke singafundwa, uthi ingcenye ze statement zingafundwa ngoba kunamagama wabantu ayikuthi ayashiwo kuleso statement. Labo bantu ubona ukuthi izobakhinyebeza ngenxa yokuthi labo bantu abakatshelwa ukuthi kunamagama wabo kulezi statement, futhi abatshelwanga nokuthi nanamuhla kuzofundwa amagama wabo aphumele sobala. La ukuthi ubona ukuthi umshushisi ngeke iphathe labo bantu kahle, futhi nakuleli cala akusukuthi kunento ethize izoguquka ngemva kokuthi lawo magama ashiwo, kodwa ukuvikela labo bantu ngenxa yokuthi abaziswanga. Manje uyacela ukuthi yena leyo ngcenye yaleso statement ingafundwa. Ummeli wenu uthi yena ayifundwe, yena akabone kunenkinga nanoma labo bantu bangaziswanga. Inkantolo ithi ilibele yelule isandla ifuna ukuthi leli cala leli liqhubeke, kodwa kunenye indawo la ukuthi ilibele yenza izinto ngoba abameli bathi iyeka okunye okomthetho, kodwa manje inkantolo ibona ukuthi ingathi sekuzofikela la izogcina seyithi umthetho uthi akulandelelwe umthetho, ngoba sikulesi sigaba ese-trial within a trial sokuthi kunobufakazi obuthize obukhulunywa ngabo. Lobo bufakazi khona kulesi sigaba bungasetshenziswa noma umuntu angakhetha ukuthi angabusebenzisi icala mase selizoqhubeka sesikuleyana ebizwa i-trial.
Okay, so you're at liberty, Mr. Ngomezulu, to do what your duty intends you to do.
May I please ask the court, my lord, to
Yeah.
the court, the witness to read the affidavit.
Read?
To read the affidavit.
Are you not going to prove the statement?
No.
Oh, he must read it.
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Baloyi, what is the law? What does the law prescribe?
Well, my lord, the law is very clear that no statement can be used unless it has been proven. And that is the steps that my learned colleague should follow.
Let's hear Mr. Ngomezulu, you can start. You want him to read it, but
Just to read the statement. I won't
by not laying down the
no.
legal
Or the
protocol.
the basis. Yeah? My lord,
Because then it is not a sworn statement. You understand it?
it is a sworn statement.
No, it is sworn until. It is sworn.
May I
But
lay the,
until, wait. If you want it to get onto the record,
yes.
then you've got a legal duty to prove that the law was complied with when the statement was made
Yes.
to be a sworn statement.
Correct.
Okay, fine. You can proceed.
Thank you. Say, Brigadier Gininda, is it correct that you are the deponent of the statement A227?
That is correct, my lord.
Kuyiqiniso ukuthi wena obhalele lesi statement uthi yebo iqiniso.
Is it correct that you actually read this? Sorry, you're the one who wrote the statement by yourself.
That is correct, my lord.
We osibhale ngokwakho uthi yebo yimi.
So did you read back the statement to the satisfaction of the contents that are contained therein?
No, I made a statement, my lord. It's my statement. I
Yes.
made it.
Usifundile le statement ngemva kokuthi usibhale uthi mina yimina ongisibhalile bekungenasidingo sokuthi ngisifune.
Did you sign the statement
Correct, my lord.
Usayinile uthi yebo ngisayinile.
in the presence of the Commissioner of Oath?
That is correct, my lord.
Usayine ngaphambi komuntu obekade esichithiza istembu uthi yebo.
Is the statement binding in your conscience?
That is correct, my lord.
Leso statement siphethene sihlangabezane nonembeza wakho uthi yebo.
So do you correct the truthfulness of that statement?
Yes, I do, my lord.
Leso statement siyiqiniso uthi yebo.
The date in which you signed the statement?
It was 20 November 2020.
Thank you, my lord.
Okay, sir.
Cela ukuthi asifunde uyafunda ke uBrigadier Gininda.
My lord, it reads as follows. I, the undersigned Bongani Nicholas Gininda, state under oath as follows in English. I am employed as a police officer in terms of Section 30 of the South African Police State Commissioner's Office as the commander of the Cold Case Investigation Unit of the National Commissioner with the rank of a colonel. I've mentioned the service number, my lord, and the telephone number, which I would like to skip. Paragraph 2, I am the lead investigating officer of Phosphorus Case 636 of 10/2014, which is a case of murder where one Senzo Meyiwa was shot and killed on the 26th of October 2014 between 20:30 and 2100 hours. This deceased was shot at the house belonging to then his girlfriend, namely Kenny Kumalo. It initially appeared that it was a robbery gone wrong. Witness statement under oath indicated that two black males entered the house. The man and one child were present in the house when the accused entered. The witness stated that one of the suspects was carrying a firearm purporting to be a revolver. The accused was described as a black male with big eyes, dreadlocks, wearing a khaki or brown jacket or top, and it was described that in the said house a struggle ensued between Senzo Meyiwa, the deceased, and the suspect carrying the firearm. 2 shots were fired by the suspect. The second suspect, who is now accused 2, focused on the rest of the witnesses in the process. One cellular phone belonging to Miss Kelly Kumalo was robbed by the suspect during the committal of the offense. It is also stated under oath that but only a few meters from the crime scene prior to the incident appearing to be, which was worn by the shooter, was left on the crime to be linked to the offense, was seen running away from the crime scene. Identikit was compiled through witnesses of this suspect. The victim was rushed to the hospital by the witnesses who were in the house. However, he was declared dead on arrival at the hospital. The incident took place between 20:30 and 2100 hours. The deceased was declared dead on arrival at the hospital at 21:15. Investigation further revealed, paragraph 3, my lord. Investigation revealed that the cell phone which was robbed was picked up through cell phone towers until the signal was lost, covering the area of Phosphorus Hostel. The said cell phone was never recovered to date or ever switched on again. The evidence explained herein under oath indicates that the planning investigation which resulted in evidence under oath revealed that the victim was murdered as a contractual assassination or hit rather than a robbery gone wrong. Evidence under oath revealed that 5 suspects actively participated in the planning and execution of the contractual murder of Senzo Meyiwa. The suspects are as follows. 3.1, Musika Ukulelwa's Tembas Biya. He was first linked to this offense by means of witnesses' statements under oath. The accused boasted to individuals closely associated with him in KZN Homeland as to his involvement together with Mafiga, herein under suspect 2, Carlos herein under suspect 3, Mapisa herein under suspect 4, and Nkani herein under suspect 5. He made to the commissioned in the Miss Kelly outside the scene place, however, the scene place house where the deceased was shot. The accused identified the place position he held when this offense was committed. It placed It plays in to be the 5th of June, because
5th
that's
of
when the
June.
pointing out was made.
Okay.
The accused was further linked by a witch doctor he attended. This accused, after this movement in the office that the witch doctor came across this accused, the said doctor recognized accused in my presence and said he recalled also that he once came with Mapisa from Fosloras to him, but this accused denied the involvement of Mapisa and insisted to the witch doctor that he came only with the Buthelezi brothers. At this stage of the investigation, the presence of Mapisa is one of the suspect. The name of Mapisa is one of the suspects that was known to me, but it later became evident that this accused was hiding the presence of Mapisa to the police. The accused was initially confronted with the identity of the suspect with a dreadlock as the person resembles his looks. The accused was formally warned according to his constitutional rights prior to the questioning. It was under these circumstances that he decided to make a confession, but clearly stating that he was not the shooter and that he was standing outside. He further indicated that Senzo was shot on the chest. He was confronted with this knowledge and how he know the exact spot of the wound if he did not do it or was not in the house. He then implicated one Marco Buthelezi as the shooter and the person who told him. He further said he was willing to make a confession and pointing out at the crime scene freely and voluntarily without any undue influence. 3.2 Bongani Sandisontanzi. He is linked to this offense by means of certified sworn statement he made to the witnesses and an identity kit complied through the description to the witnesses. He was identified as the person with the hoodie who initially stood outside of the house prior to the incident and running away after the incident. The involvement of this suspect was mentioned by suspect 1 herein above as equally involved in the killing of the deceased to the family of suspect 1. The suspect was traced through information received and was confronted with the evidence available against him. He was amongst others confronted with the clothes he was alleged to have worn and the compiled identity kits. During the questioning and subsequent search of the premises where ammunition found for which no license was produced, and then interviewed about the suspicion, that immediately said that he remembers that the incident took place on the 26th of October 2014 and that on that specific day he was at work in Rustenburg. I requested the accused to identify the said place of work, which he voluntarily identified. Upon proceeding and arriving at the premises of his previous employer, it was discovered through evidence obtained under oath that this accused lied about his whereabouts. In fact, he was on absent without leave from the 25th of October 2014 to the 3rd of November 2014. Hereafter, the suspect indicated his eagerness to confess as to his involvement in the matter. The suspect made a commission to a commissioned officer on the 19th of June 2020 and later made a further confession in the presence of his attorney to a magistrate in Boksburg Magistrate Court on the 24th of June 2020. Through the confession, does it appear that Ms. Kelly Kumalo is the person who gave the order to kill Senzo Meyiwa? 3.3 Mtobisi Prince Mngube, nicknamed Carlos. He is linked by means of sworn certified statement in the docket referred to herein above. The involvement of this accused was equally explained in detail in the confession by suspect 2 above. Through investigation of this information contained in the confession, further evidence under oath was obtained as to the suspect's real name depicted above. It was established that the suspect was a sentenced prisoner serving 35 years in prison for the murder committed in 2015. Ballistic tests reveal that the same firearm used in the murder for which the accused was serving his sentence was used in the murder of Senzo Meyiwa. Upon the accused's arrest for the 2015 convicted murder, a cell phone was seized in his possession. The cell phone downloads of this that were identified by witnesses on the day of the incident as the accused carrying the revolver entering the house. Photos downloaded taken of the accused by him, selfies, during the day of the 26th October 2014 matched the description of the suspect who had the firearm with red locks, big eyes and with gold teeth. This is the suspect that went into the house, made a demand for cell phone and money. He is also, in fact, all accused in this matter are Zulu speaking and knows each other. Photos were equally found of the murder weapon used in the murder of Senzo Meyiwa. A photo containing the exact bag of money similar to the one found in Miss Kelly Khumalo was found. There is also another selfie that was taken by the cell phone of this accused, which shows him having a gold tooth. The gold tooth was one of the things that was noted by the witnesses. It is imperative to mention that this accused currently does not have the gold tooth as well as the dreadlocks, but evidence shows that he had both in 2014, October 26. Mthokoziseni Ziphozonke Mapisa, also known as Mapisa. This suspect, this is 3.4 Malot. This suspect is linked to this offense by means of certified sworn statements and referred to herein above. He is further linked by means of a confession he made to a private person, a close friend, about his involvement in this matter. The confession came about in the information disclosed was that also for the Meyiwa murder. Upon the private person returned disclosing this information to suspect Mapisa, did Mapisa instruct the private person to return to and inform suspect Mafiga not to disclose his Mapisa involvement, as he, Mafiga, will be assassinated. It was during this discussion that the suspect Mapisa confessed to the private person his involvement in the matter. Investigation revealed that the role of this suspect was to guard any unexpected people who may come in or outside the house. He was also armed with a small firearm. 3.5 Sifokuhle Nkani Ntuli, also known as Nkani. The suspect is linked by means of a sworn statement by witnesses referred to above. He is linked to a car that was used as a getaway vehicle after the murder of the deceased. Evidence also reveals that he drove the car with the suspect to the crime scene and back to Fosoras Hostel after the incident. The accused is linked by cell phone analyst by means of a cell phone links to Miss Kelly Khumalo. His role was to remain and guard the getaway car during the commission of the offense. The confession of Mafiga, insofar as the usage of the was seen driving the vehicle above on different locations and occasions where these numbers were discovered by the XDS system used by the cell phone analyst and subsequently linked to her activities. The numbers are as follows: 079494 linked to the actual perpetrators of this murder by means of cell phone linkages. These linkages connect her to accused 3 and 5. It was further discovered that through cell phone analysis, her cell phone memory album has the same photo of a see-through bag containing cash, notes, and in the exact position or location or spot of that of accused number 3. There is no reasonable explanation as to why Kelly Khumalo will be in contact telephonically with the headman or killers of a boyfriend and share the same picture of a bag full of money. Communication records between her and her sister shows that as early as 2013, she wanted to get rid of the deceased, as she puts it. It is apparently clear that she hated him and wanted to get rid of him. She further states that she regrets not succeeding to get rid of him. Cell phone record shows that after the incident took place, she phoned a number of people from 082-703-4358 number but no call was made to emergency services. She also subsequently went to the witch doctor for cleansing, as was also done by the other accused in this matter. The statement of Mr. Mkhize, who is an expert in this matter, clearly indicates that this is normally or how it this is not normally or how it should be done, especially in if one is innocent. Evidence by means of a sworn corroborating and independent witness's statement establish a causal link between the offenders and the offenses of murder, robbery and aggravating circumstances, possession of unlicensed firearm and unlawful possession of ammunition, and conspiracy to commit murder. Ms. Kelly Khumalo seems to be the trigger point of this murder. Then paragraph 5, my lord, which is the last one, is basically the oath, and I signed, it was commissioned on 2020 November the 20th.
Yeah, just one query before Mr. Gomezulu starts. You read, you say there's a casual relationship, it's causal.
Causal relation. Thank
Please,
you, my lord.
because I understand a bit of English.
Thank you, my lord. Causal
Okay.
relationship.
Right. Yes, sir.
Sorry, my lord, there's one last page at the back which I
Yeah.
didn't go to. It's basically a J50 application warrant which was not
okay.
signed
Okay.
for Ms. Kelly Khumalo. So, because it forms
It
part
is
of
in the
it's
list.
part of the statement.
Yeah, it's part of it. Okay, fine, I hear you. But I say it's in the link of exhibits.
Yes, my lord. I suppose. I wouldn't know.
Yeah, okay, fine, fine.
Yes.
Yes,
Manje-ke,
yes. Oh yeah, by the way, you've got to interpret.
as the court pleases, lesi statement siyafana cishe naleziyana esifundwe ngomsombuluko. Lesi sihluka nje ngokuthi sifaka igama ukuthi umangalelo oqala uye wawa lanyelwe ukhe uCarlos kuthiwa ubekade naye ekhulume nabanye abantu abathize, labo bantu bafunga phambi kwamke nekhuluma isiZulu, futhi kuye kwashiwo ukuthi efonini kaCarlos kuye kwatholakala isithombe ebesikade sibonisa isikhwama esithize ebesibonakala sinemali ngaphakathi. Leso sithombe satholakala efonini yakhe, ukuthi efonini yakhe uKelly Khumalo kwakade kunaso leso sithombe esifana ncamashi nalesiyana esikuyifoni yakaCarlos. Futhi ke umangalelwa wesine ke yena utholakele ngokuthi naye bekade ekhulume nomuntu othize. Lo muntu wagcina sekambuza ukuthi manje akungichazisele kufike kanjani ukuthi umafika agcine seyikuthi uyaboshwa. Umaphisa wamthumela ke bathi awuke uye uyohlola ubuze imibuzo ethize. Ithe makabuya lo muntu lo ongakhulunywanga igama lakhe wathi yena ukhulumile nomafika. Umafika umtshele ukuthi uboshwe leli yaqala, futhi umaphisa wathumela lo yamuntu wathi hamba uyomtshela umaphisa ukuthi angakhulumi ukuthi kwenzakeleni, kuthunyelwe ubani, angalinge nje akhulume ngoba uzogcina naye sekabulawa. Umangalelwa wesine, umangalelwa wesihlanu yena ubandakanyiswa ngokuthi uyena obekade eshayela imoto bekade kuyinhlobo ye-VW Polo, number plate yakhona CT79YZGP, wabonwa ayishayela ngaphambi kokuthi kwenzakale lesi sigameko. Nangemva kokuthi isigameko senzeke uye wabonwa ekade eshayela leyo moto, futhi naye uye wacebisa ukuthi umafika angakhulumi ukuthi kwenzakeleni ngalesikhathi kuze bekubulawa umnumzana uSenzo Meyiwa. Kuthiwa ke abamangalelwa bonke bona baziwa njengeinkabi ebezikade zinokubulala abantu uma kunezimpi zamathekisi. Kwacebiswa futhi umafika ukuthi angalinge akhulume, ecetshiswana futhi umangalelwa wesihlanu ukuthi angalinge akhulume ukuthi kwenzakeleni ngoba naye angagcina seyikuthi uyabulawa. Bufakazi bubonakalisile futhi ukuthi uKelly Khumalo naye enyangeni bayozigeza ngaphambi nangemva kokuthi kubulawe umnumzana uSenzo Meyiwa. Bufakazi buyabonakalisa kwi-statement ukuthi umuntu uye waya emaphoyiseni yena wafunga ukuthi bekade kunecala lenhlamvu bezikade zingekho emthethweni ukuthi kuyobulawa umuntu. Ukheli Khumalo kubonakala ingathi uyena umuntu oyikuthi uye wathumela lezi inkabi ukuthi ziye ziyokwenza leli cala. Ubrigadier ufungile naye ukuthi zonke lezi zinto ezibhalwe kulesi statement iqiniso futhi uthi nasi esinye kodwa lesi asizange sisayinwe bekade.
My Lord, what will be the response? Lines, accused 1 and 2. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
So, and now, even your learned colleague here is saying the disclosure of this statement may precede the content. Okay.
The attack, the warrant of arrest.
To clarify perhaps the question,
October. The name Kelly Khumalo was not.
that statement was made